All right. So welcome everyone. We're gonna get into some information about CMR and his arrest for theft while he was in the military. Right? He was a fugitive, and so I'm gonna pull up all the information right here. And you see this thing right here. This is gonna come into play once I read all the information. All right. So how about we go to the police record? Right? One of the police record. This is crazy. So this is just saying that he was pulled over, right? So if you read the statement down here in the narrative portion, you see on Saturday, 4:30, right? Um, he was approximately 22:17, so that's 10:17 in the night. The officer conducted a traffic stop, at the blank address. During the traffic stop, he made contact with the defendant, Kushain Carter. Upon contact with the defendant, he ran his name through the system, and he found out that the defendant had an open warrant, right? And so that's the warrant information right there. It references misdemeanor petty theft. It was issued in February, right? So this was in April. So he's been wanted since February the 27th. And this is now in April. So they just didn't maybe know where he was, or they haven't found him yet, or whatever the case is, right? So he had a warrant out for 2 months or so, all right? So of course with this now, he's going to be arrested. Um, let me see if there's anything else on this other part of the paperwork. No. All right, so this is where he was arrested. And so we're going to get into why I have this on screen. All right. All right. So let's go to the report. Let's go to the report. So this was one of the court documents. All right. That came with the warrant, affidavit for warrants. So this is the information in the warrant. This is the state of Florida versus Kushain Carter. All right. I'm going to block out some of his information, so I don't want even though it's public information, I don't want to transmit it. Up top it says, the information about the court complaint, the court case, the statute, charge petty theft, $100 to $300. All right. And then let's look at the information right here. So the state of Florida versus Christian Thompson. So the warrant information says, before me, right? The undersigned judge personally appeared, your defendant, so the detective, and that's his badge number, member of the Orlando Police Department, who by me being first duly sworn. So he's just going to, on the day, on the 10th day, says that on the 10th day of December 2015. So this happened a year prior now, before they issued the warrant, right, in December. In Orange County, Florida, the defendant, Kushain Carter, did a violation, so they give the state statute, unlawfully did commit crimes, petty theft. So he petty theft. You know what? Let me go back to this. I think I missed something. So on this arrest form right here, he was in the military. He was in the military right here. He was in the military. There is his job. Okay, so he was in the military while he had a warrant and when he was arrested in 2016. Okay, all right. Right, so let's continue. On the 12th, 10th, 2015, that means the 10th day of December, approximately 15:16, that is 3:16 in the afternoon, right? Um, MPO J. Gonzalez assisted with units responding to the address. There's a Navy exchange in reference to a retail theft in progress. So they knew he was stealing. They called him while he was there. All right. So let's go down here. The complainant, that's the person, stated that the suspect had fled on foot without stolen property northbound on the Trade Port Drive. The complainant lost sight of the suspect in the wooded area just north of the property. The complainant described the suspect to be a black male, 5'10", wearing sweater and brown jeans. The complainant stated that the suspect was initially observed via closed-circuit television. So he stole from the Navy exchange. If nobody knows what that is, that's a military exchange. Military exchanges have camera everywhere. They have loss prevention everywhere. That's one place you do not want to steal from. If you want to steal from anywhere else, you can. Not advising you to, but you do not want to steal from the Navy exchange. All right? So let's go back to this. The complainant stated that the suspect was initially observed by closed-circuit CCTV, in the fragrance department. The suspect was observed taking a blue Chanel fragrance valued at $70 and a Paco Rabanne fragrance valued at $66. The suspect walked to the children's department where he removed the plastic wrapper that was around the fragrances. The suspect then placed the items in the plastic bag that he already had in his hand. So he already had a plastic bag in his hand. He took off the plastic wrapper around the fragrances, right? I guess he's trying to make it look like it's his or he bought it already. The suspect then placed the items in a plastic bag he already had in his hand. The suspect then walked into the uniform department and selected 2 rank insignia from the display. So that's what rank you go by. That's your pay grade. That's what you are when they call your name. They call your rank first, right? The suspect walked to the jewelry department and only paid for the rank. So he had 2 fragrances in his bag. He took off the wrappers, he put in the plastic bag, and he only paid for the insignia after he walked to that department to pay for those, right? The suspect then exited the store, passing all points of sale without making any attempts to pay for the fragrances. The complainant then approached the suspect and identified himself as loss prevention. The suspect then dropped the merchandise and began running northbound on Tradeport Drive. A sworn statement issued was obtained by the complainant. The suspect was not given permission to exit the store without paying for the stolen merchandise, and prosecution is desired. So they want to prosecute him when he took off. The total amount was $136. A copy of the video surveillance was obtained and will be submitted to Orlando Police Department as evidence. So, they're going to send that forward and they want to prosecute. The complainant stated that they might be able to identify the suspect from the previous purchases he made. They could not pull up the transaction at the time. The complainant called the information desk to advise on December 11 at 19:30 hours. That's 7:30. While leaving the establishment, he saw a gray Nissan Altima with the Florida plates still parked in the parking lot. However, gone the next morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. So the complainant stated that they might be able to identify the subject by previous references. Okay. The surveillance video was reviewed and the complainant determined that the suspect made 2 different purchases before fleeing, which were the following. So yeah, so he made 2 different purchases with the card, right? Um, and they have his name there, and the amount $75. So yeah, so they identify him because he made the purchase and he tried to steal the other 2 colognes. Christian got okay, so they have his receipt and everything. So I mean, when he ran, I mean, yeah. So they want to prosecute him. Let's see what this is down here. There's a detective assigned to do a follow up. A search for the name Cushing Carter revealed an individual by the name of Cushing, and that's his full name. All right, and the date of birth. Okay, so let's see what the second part or the third part of this warrant um, appeared to be the suspect. So he appeared to be the suspect. Mr. Carter has an full address out in Jacksonville, but recently stopped for speeding in Sanford on I-4. He visited Central Florida area. I contacted the complainant and advised he would be able to identify the suspect. I created a photo lineup. So they did a photo lineup with the person at the Navy Exchange on base, right? And they, you know, I'm pretty sure they're gonna find him. They're gonna know who it is because they've seen his face and everything. He advised he understood that instructions. And so this is just what they're saying right here. And the individual was number 5, right, on the lineup. It's a picture lineup. They put a picture lineup in front of the people who are wanting to prosecute CMR. They also provided a source statement. Um, so based on the above facts, I are probable cause to charge Mr. Carter with the violation of Florida statute, and that's the Florida statute for petty theft over $100 but less than $300. Due to the above facts, it is your belief, affiant belief, that the defendant Cushing, that's his full name, committed aforementioned violations of the laws of the Florida statute. So based on all the information they have, they said yes, they're gonna get the warrant and get the judge to sign off on the warrant, and that's the detective signature. And they bring it to the judge. The judge say, "Okay, yep, go get him," and the judge signed it also. This is crazy. So this is the conclusion of it, right? So after all of that, they have other documentation. I won't go through all of them because I'm not going to block out everything and go through all the rigmarole, right? So after everything, right? This is what the prosecutor said. This is what the prosecutor said. The prosecutor said the state of Florida, by undersigned the state attorney, entered a nolle prosequi in the above entitled actions to count 1, petty theft, $100. Um, I certify that there's a copy. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what this means. But he did bond out for $500. He got arrested and he got bonded for $500, right? So this is the court documents right here. So $500 he got banned out for petty theft. Okay, once he was arrested. Okay, so what the prosecutor said, right? With this is a Latin phrase, nulli proquisquili, or however you pronounce it. The prosecutor say he's not going to prosecute because it's less than $100. It's probably going to take more of the court's time and effort to prosecute this. He left the items. He was arrested. There is a record, but they're just not going to pursue the charge. So he escaped. He basically he should be thanking his lucky stars, right? He got away with this. The prosecutor didn't want to prosecute him for something that's less than $200. It was 130 something, $36, I think, I remember. So the prosecutor says basically, I don't want to prosecute him because for 100 and something dollars, nah. So he got away. He got away with not doing any time or paying any fine, apart from his bond, right? The $500. So if you think about it, he paid more than what the items were. Significant, well, not significantly, but more than what the items were. What the items came up to less than $300, and he paid $500 a bond, and he got arrested. And there's a record. So he was in the military. He had a warrant for 2 months. They pulled him over, and then they found out that he had a warrant. Yeah. So CMR, 2016, was arrested for petty theft for trying to steal cologne from the Navy exchange while he was in the military. I mean, you shouldn't have so many run-ins with the military, with the law, over stuff you can control. Why would you take off the wrapper off the colognes and put it in the plastic bag, go for something else, pay for it without paying for the cologne, and then when you get it confronted, you drop the items and run? So if you didn't steal them or intend to steal them, you wouldn't drop the items and you wouldn't run. And they have your information because you paid for the ranking signet for your uniform, your military uniform. This was in 2016, but the action occurred in December 2015. They gave the warrant out in February, and they arrested him in April. All right, well, CMR, you got to do better, bro. Got to do better. Got to do better. All right, make sure y'all subscribe. I'm gonna bring you more items like this and get on the topic on topics that I find interesting. But there's more where this came from. There are more where this came from. Right? I got some other stuff that's here, and so make sure you hit the subscription button. All right, make sure you share this, and I appreciate everybody logging in.